What's up, gamers? We're playing some more freaking Higurashi today. I don't know how far. I don't know how far we're gonna go, but we're gonna get somewhere. Okay. Shion broke out of private school. That's and that's where we left off. And making happy times with Mio. The sisters reunite. I think that's it though. Crazy. Absolutely insane. We don't have many tips either. Happy times. Happy times. I wonder how long this will last. Huh? I wonder how long this will last. It's a very quiet afternoon, as always. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mion when I go shopping. I've gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally have to buy things in bulk. Today, I shuttled between shops in my home. I got this. I got that. Oh, wait. Isn't it 100 yen sale day today? Forgot this. Being in a good mood, I sped around with my arms spread out. I felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. What the? Park this motorcycle here. Give it a kick with no hesitation. Mion. No. There were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was a beautiful sight. This is fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. I didn't realize that the owners of the motorcycles were right nearby. They looked pretty scary. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening too quickly for me to grasp what was going on. Oh my god. The fuck are you, bitch? What do you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch. You're gonna pay for what you did. Yeah, why are they British? That doesn't really make sense, does it? Whoa, they can't really talk properly. I didn't have a clue what they were saying. I had to translate their alien tongue into normal human words in order to understand. Yeah, that's how it is. We were very upset because you knocked down our motorcycles. You should immediately pay for the repair and compensation. Yeah, that was probably it. That's our offer. What do you say? And me when I speak with a British person. Yeah. Yep. We'd be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that? Oh, what did I do? Sorry, I don't think I can continue interpreting. What you say? Dude, what is happening? I don't know, I know what they're trying to say. But somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. Wouldn't it be fair to those who obey the rules if there were no punishment for those who disobey them? This is an accident, but it must also be God's will. Okay, but God, you can use me to punish these guys, but how will you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course, I wasn't afraid in this situation at all, because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These 3 guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. They didn't look good doing it, and they had too many disadvantages. First, there was differences in gender and the number of people. Even if I did something wrong, as men shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were in the right. Added to that, there were 3 of them. It already looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea. Top of what they're asking for money, not just an apology. Thanks to these facts, the public will be on my side. So this was a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win would be to take my money before somebody finds out. Considering that, taking me to this narrow, secluded alleyway must have been a smart move, since fewer people will find out about the situation. Ah! You listening or not? I know how slim their chances of winning were. From the very beginning, they had picked the wrong girl. I'm Mion Sonozaki now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okinomiya. Soon enough, people of Hinamizawa would notice me and gather around. They don't spare mercy for their enemies, no matter what. Punks didn't know this area well. If they did, they'd have known how silly it was to rob Mion. Plus, the alleyway isn't always as empty as they assumed. The side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people will be passing through here. That time had almost arrived. If I held off a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people. Then the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This was a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me or lift me up by the collar, they weren't actually going to resort to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining the ladies first mindset. Wow. Oh, Sven. But as a wicked person, I wanted to toy with them a bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I wanted to paint them as even more villainous and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. That demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I only need to act as the poor, helpless victim a little further. Like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. Hydrate? God bless, thank you. I prepare water. I don't forget this time. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately, because they'd get nervous and draw back. If it were a truly threatening situation, that would work, but I needed something different here. I'd pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, why don't I challenge them? Eventually, I'd start trembling, my voice would fade, and I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving into fear. Mion and I are probably the only ones who are capable of pulling that kind of stuff off. Well, I'm probably better than her. Well, why don't you let me go now? I already apologized. Talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes. By the way, I've heard men can't shed tears on command. Feel sorry for them. That's awful. Three punks faltered a bit to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep going. That way they'd blatantly look like they were picking on a helpless girl. Please, forgive me. But what you doing? What's this girl? I don't... Maybe you should apologize like that from the start. Looked like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. That moment. Cut it out! Don't you see her crying? Stop it! Wait. Is this Keiichi? Because I remember something similar like this happening in an earlier chapter. A boy around my head? Yes! Oh my god. This has to be Keiichi. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks. What the hell? Who the heck are ye? Punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at him. They sure were ruthless, but the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known that he was going into a dangerous situation. Yet he didn't hesitate. Well, can say something, why don't you answer us? Must have wanted to shout back at them. But he probably never used that kind of language in his life. Yeah, I guess they had to translate like the accent of the punks as British. I guess. So he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. Might not even know what to say. So he just kept on glaring at them, to let them know that he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, might have thought he was just at a loss for words in his fear. But I knew different. The boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. No! No! They grabbed him and knocked him down. They hit, kicked, and tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew. It was his victory. Ah! Baby! In the end, local passerby stopped the punks. Made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up. He was covered in dust. Wait! Satoshi! Oh! That makes more sense. That makes more sense. But then also, the parallels between Keiichi and Satoshi is just that much more. He smiled when our eyes met, and asked me if I was alright. He didn't look particularly okay himself, though. Let me turn up the volume just a bit. How could you step into a fight when you obviously couldn't win? Pick your opponents better next time. I hesitated at first. He laughed, saying that he was watching from the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away. But instead, he worked up the courage and stepped in. I was reckless, not brave. Being a little harsh, Mion. You should at least say thank you. I saw you crying. Oh! Right. He thinks that she's Mion and he goes to school in Hinamizawa. No, I wasn't crying. That was just an act. Okay. Hey, you don't believe me, do you? Do you really think I'd cry? No, nobody believed Mion Sotozaki would cry when punks bullied her. Why are you laughing? You really don't believe that was an act? I'd never cry. I believe you, I do. Realized one thing. Must be one of Sis's friends. He didn't seem to realize I'm her twin. Thought I was a Mion with a different hairstyle. Mion and I had to live separately since before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa and I was in Okinomiya. I lived in a totally different environment from her. It's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people know I exist. I almost told them I'm not Mion, but I managed to stop myself. Shion shouldn't be here. He's from Hinamizawa. Wouldn't it be good if he thought he saw Mion look like in Okinomiya? So I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him could be more difficult than handling those punks. Well, I was just relieved because he seemed to have a girly side after all. Sound hostile. What exactly do you mean by that? I thought you'd kick those guys' butts with some crazy martial arts, so I was really surprised when he started crying. Hey, like I said, I was acting. Weren't you listening at all? He gently pushed his hand on top of my head and stroked it as if stroking a kitten. Do not do that to girls. I guess maybe you could if you were like a really close friend, but no, don't do that. I remember somebody doing that to me when I was little, but it had been quite a while since somebody stroked my head. I didn't know what to do. Why did it make me so embarrassed? My face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything. Hey, it's called head pats, man. I know, but it's... I don't... no. Hey, are you making fun of me? I saw in embarrassment. He looked calm, as if he was used to doing this. Whatever. Aren't you glad, though? Glad? What do you mean? Well, you didn't get... Ah! I knew that was coming. See, it's fine like this. But, if you ever approach me in real life, you get the hammer. Well, you didn't get hurt. He smiled when he kept stroking my head. His smile looked divine. He wasn't going to stay for long. He'd already saved me from those guys after all. Well, I need to be going, so I should head off now. Okay. Wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he just saved a friend from danger, and he wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mion must be friends who knew each other well. So I couldn't bring myself to ask, "What's your name?" Mion's friend smiled once again. His smile looked as refreshing as a clear blue sky. This time he smiled a bit mischievously. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone you were crying. Well, nobody would believe it if I told them anyway. Nobody would ever believe that our invincible class president cried. Patted the dust off his butt once again. He walked back to the sunny main road, away from the dark alley. Then he turned around. See you. In school tomorrow, I mean. Yeah. See you in school. Disappeared into the brightly lit street. I continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. I was just staring absent-mindedly at the bright light. It was the first time I'd met Satoshi-kun. Wow. I'm not even allowed to walk freely under the sun. I met a boy on a sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? Notebook, page 5. Well, does anyone find the notebook? I don't know. That must be Satoshi. It looks like what you described. He has a habit of stroking people's heads. Yeah, I feel like Keiichi kinda had that. I mean, kinda. He wouldn't do it to Mion, would he? Maybe he did like once. His name is Satoshi-kun, huh? The boy from earlier is called Satoshi Hojo-kun. Mion said that he's always daydreaming. So she didn't believe that he saved me at first. His little sister is always kicking his butt. He has a little sister? Yeah. Her name is Satoko. She's funny and shrewd, but is quick to cry when she's cornered. She's fun to watch, but things have been rough for her lately, so she's feeling a bit down. Sister came up naturally in the conversation. His sister. I tried to soak up every scrap of information about Satoshi-kun. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, the feeling I got when he stroked my head came back to me. Must have been blushing. Hello? Jion! Sorry. I'm here, I'm listening. To start, I hear Satoko's on bad terms with her aunt. Satoshi's mature, so he knows how to conduct himself, but when bad things happen, Satoko really lets herself go. Sis told me it was very interesting. Told me that the parents of Satoshi-kun and his little sister are dead. Satoshi-kun and Satoko are now living with their uncle and aunt. They don't seem like very respectable people. They're always fighting and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi-kun and Satoko entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprised me the most is the fact that Satoshi-kun's parents were the Hojo couple, were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance the uncle and aunt took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi-kun's parents died after bothering them so much, and even left them their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Things have gotten worse this past year too. Women can be really nasty bullies. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying, even if it's a kid. On top of that, women tend to care less about property than men. As a result, Satoko seems exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi-kun bravely protecting his little sister. Just like when he saved me. So, he must be exhausted too, right? Huh? He must be covering for Satoko all the time, so wouldn't you normally assume that he's also feeling worn out? Well, I don't know. Had I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken back. So that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling, because he's always wearing that blank look. So she's never considered it. How could she be that insensitive, even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that. Well, anyway, what does he usually do? He looks smart, so does he read a lot of books? Yeah, you're right. He likes to read. He's not reading... what's it called? I don't know, some big book. I continued asking about him. About what he likes, dislikes, what he thinks about. I asked this all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It's the first time I'd ever been that interested in somebody. I didn't want to admit that I had feelings like that. Did I just fall in love because of a stroke on the head? Am I stupid or what? And I remember the feeling of his hand on my head. My heart feels tingly. I tried doing it myself, but it didn't feel the same. I'm stupid. What am I doing? Stroking my own head. Sis, I'm done for. I became stupid. What? What are you laughing? Why are you laughing in that weird voice? You wouldn't understand this feeling, sis. When would I see him again? Felt as if my suffocating life had finally gone brighter. Wow. So wholesome. A love at first sight scenario, isn't it? I'm so tired, I guess. The life I lived really was beginning to suffocate me. Couldn't go out freely and always had to make arrangements with Mion before going to work. I thought my life would improve after escaping from the school, but in reality it wasn't that easy. It's not healthy to live like this for too long. Without any friends to hang out with, I felt like I was hibernating. I started to feel the dangers of falling into boredom. All I could think of now was Satoshi Hojo-kun's face. I only met him briefly, but my encounter with him had a great impact on my new life. It felt like something exciting was going to happen. Really, I was hyped up like a little kid. The more I thought about it, I realized I'd been thinking about him a lot lately. This might be a crush. Felt a little ridiculous idolizing him in such a romantic way, though. Then, out of the blue, I got a chance to see him again. Oh? I saw a familiar face at twilight in the park. He was sitting on a swing. It looked like he was zoning out, or maybe in deep thought. He didn't notice me, even though I was right in front of him. I reminded myself to speak and act like Mio before talking to him. Hey, what are you doing here? Mion, you surprised me. You don't look surprised. I've been standing here for a couple minutes now. Didn't you notice me? Have you? Sorry, I didn't. He smiled derisively and shrugged. He looked depressed, like something was troubling him. Something bugging you? You can talk to me if you want. Maybe I can help. No, that's okay. Come on, I owe you one from before, Satoshi-kun. Or maybe you don't think this old man can be of any help. Yeah, you gotta mention that if you want to be Mio. Don't you know how mighty I am? I'm okay. You don't have to help me. Huh? What is it then? Are you saying that you don't need help from a girl? Thinking him unfair, I puffed up my cheeks in a sulky gesture. Satoshi-kun noticed that and smiled. No, Mion. It's just I messed up my swing when they needed me the most. I mentally rifled through all the information about Satoshi-kun that Sis had given me. Doesn't look like much of an athlete, but apparently Satoshi-kun belongs to a junior baseball team called the HEWWO Fighters. Doubt he's very skilled. I doubt he's very skilled since I didn't hear much about his contributions to the team. Maybe that's why he doesn't tell many people that he's a member. Given how down he felt as a result of messing up, though, he must be fairly dedicated. I deduced all that from what Sis told me and carefully chose my words so as to sound like her. What? Are you feeling down just because of that? Hey, it's not that easy to get over, Mion. Pat his back while chuckling. Satoshi-kun would probably call me insensitive. I know I should listen to him rather than trying to cheer him up. Acting like Sis was probably the wrong thing to do in this case. But I had no choice. This was just how she'd react in the situation. Instead of feeling down, you should practice even harder and aim for your chance, you know? Practice makes perfect here. Well, if you want to beat the opposing pitcher so badly you're willing to pull some tricks, then I might be able to help you in a few ways. There's no point if I cheat. Satoshi-kun hung his head after letting his regrets out with a big sigh. Surrender, defeat, resignation were all visible in that gesture of his. Are you quick to give up or persistent? If you're a man, then why don't you want to be a star and have your 15 minutes of fame? Satoshi-kun grinned and said yes. Of course that'd be wonderful, but that's not why I play baseball. I just have fun batting and throwing the ball. You can understand that, right? This old man isn't sure. I only love games that I can win. Yeah, Mion would definitely win at baseball. I don't understand how you can love something when you can't be the best at it. Okay. She's acting like Mion here, right? Because I heavily disagree with that statement. I have fun doing so much stuff. And I'm not good. Not very good, anyway. Hold on. Kitty at the door. Kitty at the door. Whoa. Meow. 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 Okay, we good. That really sounds like you, Mion. I realized that I'm trying to make him feel better. He laughed along. He didn't look depressed anymore. He was just feeling down because of the game. He was not as depressed as I thought. Maybe I just jumped to conclusions when I saw him sitting alone in the park. You always put forth your best effort to win. That's admirable, I think. Yeah, it definitely is. He smiled gently and stood up, and then he started stroking my head. All of a sudden. I totally wasn't prepared for that. I thought this was when he did it last time, but how can he stroke somebody's head so easily? I felt like I had turned into a little kid. Memories from kindergarten came to mind. Face must have been red. Felt embarrassed, but also like I was in heaven. Oh my god. Satoshi-kun stroked me as though petting a cat. I was blushing with my eyes closed. I felt helpless, like a girl being treated by the dentist with her mouth open and her eyes shut. What? What's with the tooth analogy? Maybe the toothbrush scene from Monogatari was really onto something. Satoshi-kun didn't seem to notice my feelings at all. He didn't seem to care. I hate him. With my eyes still closed, I waited for him to finish. Suddenly withdrew his hand. I need to get going. My aunt wants some stuff, so I have to go grocery shopping. Okay. My voice faltered. I was so embarrassed. I'm going shopping, too. What? You are? I thought the maids did all your household stuff. Shoot. I messed up. In the main Sonozake house, the maids do everything. Therefore, me and Holly goes grocery shopping, and she's bragged to some people about that. Should have known better. Still, it wouldn't be too hard to find an excuse. I just happened to be in town, so I thought I'd help out with the household stuff. Is that a problem? That doesn't sound like you. You always avoid doing boring stuff like that. You talk too much. Stop stroking my head! Satoshi-kun seemed to be having fun with how embarrassed I get when he patted me. Anyway, I managed to talk my way out of it. He didn't seem to care about the details. Stop! Oh my gosh! Kitty! Hold on. Kitty! Come here! Chaos! 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 Okay. We're good. Freaking running rampage on my heckin' desk. Hold on. Click some freaking buttons. SMH. We're fine. Everything's fine. While walking with Satoshi-kun in the shopping district of Kami-ishiki, it suddenly occurred to me. Why had I messed up? I'd known Mia would never go grocery shopping. What an amateurish mistake. Hold on, I gotta also set my phone back on the charger because she did it bad. Come on. Come on. Come on. This is why I don't let my freaking kitty in the room when I stream, but she was meowing and I couldn't just stand there and watch her meow. Stop! Stop! Oh my god. Anyone have any ideas what I should do about this? Because holy heck, she will not stop. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. Right? Get off my freaking desk! Oh my god! Get off! Get off! Holy heck. We're good. We're good. Okay. I'd known Mew would never go grocery shopping. What an amateur's mistake. Did I make that mistake when I was pretending to be Mew? No. I was probably speaking as Shion. I'm gonna keep lying to myself. I had to just admit. It was simply— Stop! Stepping on my freaking computer now, huh? Holy heck. It was— I gotta let her out. She can't. I have to let her out. 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 Alright, okay, back to the main program. It was simply because I wanted to spend as much time with Satoshi-kun as possible. It was easy to see why I was so attracted to him. I'd found something intriguing in my boring life, and I didn't have to feel tense because he thought I was someone else, etc., etc. His easygoing nature made him fun to be around, and his habit of petting people on the head was fun too. From these symptoms, I could tell I was embracing the feelings of love. I was just casually enjoying that feeling. It wasn't that I fell in love with him, it was just— I was just having fun. I could simply spend some fun time with Satoshi-kun without having to think too much. Which one is broccoli? The green one, or the yellow one? That's cauliflower, Satoshi-kun. Bruh. Also, cauliflower is like white, not yellow, right? Hey, could it be that you can't tell lettuce from cabbage either? I'm not that bad. I'm doing my best here. Dude, telling lettuce from cabbages is 10 times— oh, no, other way around. Cauliflower and broccoli is so much easier to tell apart than lettuce and cabbage. Satoshi-kun stared at the heaps of broccoli and cauliflower. After thinking for a while, he reached out for the wrong one. That's not it! Watching you shop is like being on a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun for me, though. You got me. Satsuko can't tell the difference either. Which is broccoli, which one is cauliflower? You guys are too funny. Suzette told me that Satoshi was a flaky big brother to his nagging little sister. I hadn't met Satsuko, but she must be having a tough time dealing with Satoshi-kun. He stumbles over everything he buys, after all. That's cooking salt. It's mixed with pepper. It's different from regular salt. Oh, is it? I think I saw salt and pepper separate in the science experiment once. Stop making excuses, just put it back on the shelf. This is normal salt. What are you getting next? Wow. I mean, he's usually the one to go grocery shopping, right? Like, out of his quote-unquote family. So he should know these things, right? You're being a great help, Mion. You look smart, but you have serious issues. I think you should study more. That's a little harsh. There. Is this it? And it goes. Ah, that's not it. Don't just throw everything in the basket. Check the price and how many servings it is first. My first impression of Satoshi-kun was that he was strong and reliable. The more I spoke to him, the more surprised I was at how clumsy and unreliable he was. How do I put it? It was hard to leave him alone. He was dangerous on his own. If he wasn't careful, he might start wondering, do you cross the street when the light is red? Oh my god. Or was it green? Bruh, he can't be that dumb. And get himself run over by a dump truck, sweat truck. Your total is 1,780 yen. You have a member's card? Oh, yes, I do. Where is it? Oh, sorry, we can't seem to find it, so we'll be alright today. Finished checking out, ignoring Satoshi-kun as he fished through his wallet full of receipts. That was horrible, Mion. It made me waste points. The points! Don't go slowly fishing through your wallet to look for your members card in the middle of the evening shopping rush. There's a huge line behind us. Didn't you notice all the evil glares from all the old ladies? Listen, at times like that, you should get out before reaching the register. Oh, right. That's good to know. It's not only when you go shopping, the same thing goes for when you ride a bus. Satoshi-kun, I bet you don't open your wallet and start looking for change until you're about to get off and have to pay while holding up everyone behind you. No, everyone walks by me and pays their own fare. You know what that means? You're being a super huge bother to everyone. You need to have the money out beforehand, that's just good manners. Do you get it? Oh, okay. You're scary today, Mion. Satoshi-kun smiled as if patronizing me. Couldn't believe it. He was definitely the type who made women want to protect him. I mean, I guess if he and Keiichi are similar, then Keiichi also has that aura, right? Sure, he was fine when he had a busybody like me around him, but I couldn't stop worrying whether he was able to function in society without someone like that nearby. We got plastic bags and sorted out what we bought. Satoshi-kun put a bag of tofu at the bottom of the bag, slapped his hand and put it in a milk carton, and said, "Okay, there we go. Now your aunt won't freak out when she opens the shopping bag in her kitchen." Thanks. You helped me a lot. I don't think I'm very good at shopping. Just shopping? It's definitely not the only thing. How mean. Just kidding. I had realized a few things while I was spending time with him today. He's not just bad at shopping, he's also chronically clumsy. In general, you can call him a slow thinker. Bruh. Calling him slow? I meant when he stepped out into the quarrel with the punks, must have needed a lot of courage. Might be a simpleton, but he's not stupid. He's aware of his weaknesses. So he must have been aware of the danger in that situation. Could have chosen to walk away, though I was in trouble. But he chose to be a man and stepped in. That was really admirable of him. Oh my god! Cat is banned. Cat is banned. Cat is banned. Cat is freaking banned! Stop, baby! Oh. Now I have her in my arms. Just stay here. No more going on desk. Just stay here. Okay? Alright. 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 Cool. We chill? We chill. Good boy. You did a great job. There. What is it? Don't stroke my head. Rewarding you for shopping successfully today. There. Making fun of me, aren't you, Mion? No, I'm not. Can you go home by yourself? Do you know how to get there? You are making fun of me. Satoshi-kun's sulky face flushed red. He's just too cute. At that point, I caught a glimpse of a billboard in the corner of my eye. Piano lessons. Call XX. Abacus class. Junior baseball team. Members wanted. It's posting for the team Satoshi-kun belonged to. Showed the day, time, and place of the next practice. By then, I knew just how flaky he was. Figured he must just be the same when playing baseball. Satoshi-kun realized I was reading the posting. He looked uncomfortable and walked away. I know what you're thinking. I hope you won't come to see me play baseball today, Mion. Oh wait, am I right? What does that mumbling mean? I know I'm right. Satoshi-kun became quiet, after mumbling something. Seemed like he couldn't say anything back, since I had been right on the money. Satoshi-kun, you're just too cute. I don't think going silent is a good way to dodge the issue. Well, that might have been the way innocent people like him would react in a situation like that. See you, Satoshi-kun. It's getting dark, so be careful on your way back. Aren't you going home, Mion? To Hinamizawa? I have to make a stop somewhere first. Don't worry about me. I'll help you this time in return. I'm okay. What are you going to help me with anyway? You should learn to support yourself before you try to help me. Really mean today. Seemed to have some pride at least. Looked a bit upset because he was being teased by a girl, but in contrast, I felt very satisfied. As a result, I forgot to keep my guard up. Thank you for the help. That was sweet of you. Whoa! While wearing a bright smile, Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head again. I know he's teasing me, but I can't reject him. Keeps doing it only because he's realized I won't resist. God. See you, Mion. Should get home before it gets dark. See you in school tomorrow. Yeah, see you in school tomorrow too. In fact, I wouldn't see him tomorrow at all. Felt awkward, but I had to settle for that. I had to thank Sis for letting me use her name. After I separated from him, I found myself wishing to see him again as soon as possible. Wanted to know more about him. I couldn't wait for my next chance to see him. Actually, maybe there was something I could do. Just like when I obtained my freedom from St. Lucia's. I could choose how to live my life. Whatever, it wasn't that complicated. Just wanted to tease him more. I wanted him to stroke my head more, and whatever. God, whatever what. I already knew the schedule for his baseball team. Dude, the more we know Satoshi, the more I think he's so different from Keiichi. You know? They're actually really different. A crumpled diary. Aw, bro, the achievement for this chapter is a broccoli. Nice, nice. A crumpled diary. Smudged. Oh no. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good at all. My mom finally stopped her hysterical screaming. Today was just like any other day. Can't remember what set her off. Whatever it was, she changed subject constantly anyway. It didn't matter. She went on past midnight again. The urge to sleep was pounding the back of my head. Once Satoko had been able to relax, she fell down on the spot and started sleeping, still clinging to my sleeve. Should I stop the cat from, eating my wires? The life of a cat owner. Holy heck. I don't know why. Today, she's having problems. Get the heck off! Get off! Oh my god, I'm gonna have to get up again. Holy heck. Get off! Huh? Huh? What? What'd you say? Say that again? Meow? Get off! Okay, thank you. Holy heck. This kitty. She's actually insane. Once Satoko had been able to relax, she fell down on the spot and started sleeping, still clinging to my sleeve. Carried Satoko to the bedroom and laid out our futons. Here, Satoko. Your futon is ready, so get in, okay? Satoko crawled in like a worm. She stopped moving when she was inside. Wish I could go to bed too, but I couldn't. My aunt asked me to do some chores. Well, let me adjust. I had to get toothpaste after school tomorrow. I had to write it down somewhere. I had to make rice for lunch tomorrow. Set the timer. Right. I also... Satoko worm? Yes. What a brilliant meme. I missed that one. Right. I also had to repile the towels in the bathroom. That was the reason for today's scolding. My aunt will get mad if everything isn't done the way she wants. Oh, and there was something else. I was working at the grocery store the next day. She wanted me to bring an apron. Do we even have an apron at this house? I'd never even seen one. My aunt will be sleeping when I go to school, so I won't have the time to ask her. What should I do? Since Mion helped me get that job, I don't want to screw it up. In that case, why don't I ask Mion about it at school? She might lend me one. Is there anything else? was envious of Satoko because she got to go to bed. It was pathetic that I felt that way. Aw. I guess this first diary is Shion's, and then these two Satoshi's. I guess we'll go like 2 chapters per stream. That's decent. Decent amount. Yeah, it's fine. Hey there! How are you guys doing in the heat? This guy. Oh, Mion-san, we're doing good. Is that our refreshment? Thanks a bunch. Such a great manager. I just felt like coming here. I didn't bring this for you, by the way. Now don't treat me as your manager without my permission, please. We'd be a stronger team if you were our manager, Mion. Why don't you apply? As manager, I mean. Satoshi-kun smiled at me in a carefree manner. I didn't want to become their manager. It'd be tiresome. I've been coming every week, though, so I'm a quasi-manager already. Well, if I feel like it. Anyway, how's Satoshi-kun doing, coach? Is his batting average improving? Yes, he's doing fine. His batting average is, well... You buy 3 packs of rice crackers at the 7's Mart. Does that mean it's 30%? Wow. You're doing great, Satoshi-kun. It's not just about the number, Mion. I have to be able to hit the ball when it really counts. Vamps, no. It's too early to commit tax fraud. What? I have never committed tax fraud in my life. What do you mean it's too early? It's good that you're aware of your weaknesses, Satoshi-kun. Just continue working on them for now. Irie signaled to the pitcher, who then threw the ball. Satoshi-kun looked calm, following the ball with his eyes. Then he swung. Wait! I thought we were, like, actually Mion now, but we're still Shion acting as Mion to get closer to Satoshi, right? Thwack! The ball flew between the first and second bases and landed in the distance. Wow, it's really great! Good job, Satoshi-kun. I clapped and Satoshi-kun blushed in response. He repositioned his helmet to hide his face. Well, it's good in practice and when the game is slow. Irie smiled compassionately. It seemed that Satoshi-kun really couldn't perform well when it counted. Really couldn't? Or could? Hold on. Couldn't. Wow. While he was usually good and everybody expected him to perform, he couldn't. I didn't think it was because of his nervousness, but he just couldn't do it. He's a perfect fit for Satoshi-kun's character. Seems calm at first glance, but he's actually slow. Numerically speaking, you're a great player, but you need to be able to hit the ball even when things get serious. That's why you were an easy out in the match with the Ukita Jaguars the other day. Shut up, I know that. If he'd been able to hit the ball then, he would have been a hero. What a shame. Hit could have put the offense into the lead, or at least given them some extension. That was when Satoshi-kun came up to bat. Irie wanted him to live up to everybody's expectations. But statistically, that wasn't likely to happen. Yet, Irie insisted on giving him a chance, in spite of the fact that all the team members had suggested a pinch hitter. It would have been perfect if you had hit it. Why didn't you? Why can't you hit the ball in a situation when it actually matters? There was nothing I could do. I know I'm weak in a situation like that. Thought a pinch hitter was a better idea too. It's not about the match, it's about you, Satoshi-kun. You need to be more aggressive. Shouldn't you have thought the opposite way? Shouldn't you have insisted that you'd come up to bat no matter what anyone else said? I can't believe you wanted to give away the chance to some pinch hitter. Why are you so weak like that? Okay, don't be so mean. That's what I'm always telling him. I know that's one of his good points too, but... You can be a gentleman other times, but when playing games, you should be a demon. I think all men should have those two sides in them. To them. You need to let your demon out, Satoshi. Satoshi-kun. You're native to Hinamizawa, so never forget that you have demon's blood running in your veins. Dude. I guess that makes it even more surprising that people thought that Satoshi actually killed his aunt. Are you listening? Satoshi-kun. I am. I'm not sure, but... What aren't you sure about? We're talking about you, so... Whoa! Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head. He looked delighted for some reason. A blush immediately spread across my face. I didn't know how to respond. You're giving me advice, right? Thanks. I'll do my best. Hey, don't try to fool me. I'm not. I'm just happy that you care about me. I couldn't resist his hands. I couldn't help mumbling like he does. Satoshi-kun ran back to the field, leaving me as red as a beet. Do you feel good when you have your head stroked? Depends. If it were you, I'd have to teach you the new martial arts technique. Ah, what a shame. Alright, everyone gather around. Why don't you split into groups and have a practice match? The Hinamizawa fighters are sort of a lazy team. Members gather simply to enjoy playing baseball, not to fight for victory. The Okinomiya Titans use this field too, but they practice on a different day of the week. They always train hard using dumbbells and stuff. Our team is split into 2 groups and started a match, retaining their loose atmosphere. I'll keep track of the score. Coach, do you have a pencil? Thanks for helping out. Here. Took the pencil and the clipboard. I didn't know how to differentiate between recording hits and errors at first, but by now I was used to it. Show me what you got, Satoshi-kun, or maybe it'll be too much pressure if I cheer for you too excessively. Just do okay, then. That doesn't sound very encouraging either. Do your best. Time passed slowly that Sunday. Huge white clouds appeared in the sky. They made me feel healthy. Humans are born to be active under the sun. One of the parents was acting as umpire today, so Irie sat on the bench with me. He shouted words of encouragement to the kids while they ran to their positions. Any other baseball coach would constantly berate them, but he was much more generous, like a kindergarten teacher. He let the kids have fun while watching over them. To other baseball players, it might look a little naive. I'm sure you guys can do well with only a little amount of practice. Kids in Hinamizawa romp around every day, so the amount of exercise they get surpasses that of city kids. Besides, too much training is not always effective. Wow, you think completely differently from the Okinomiya Titans. I can understand why their coach hates you. It's not about being right. Matches exist for someone to win, after all. So prioritizing victory certainly isn't wrong. I think it's admirable to aim for victory together. But the goal of our team doesn't have to be victory, that's all. The Hinamizawa fighters and the Okinomiya Titans had been rivals for a long time. Both teams shared the same baseball field for one thing, and originally there was only one team, but people living in Hinamizawa left and made their own. Anyhow, we were rivals. The Okinomiya Titans were strictly about winning, and the Hinamizawa fighters were just about having fun. Surprisingly, our scores weren't that different, which meant our team had something that they didn't. Even though I couldn't put into words, I knew what made that happen. Hey, Team 1, no slacking. You can make up the 2-point difference pretty easily. Team 2, no slacking either. Still, some parents would criticize our coach for being too lenient. But still, others would strongly agree with him. Which side would I take? The latter? I couldn't really say for sure. The reason for this was that Irie had an obnoxious habit of sexual harassment. Yeah, an obnoxious habit, huh? In particular, he had a fascination with maids, but I should talk about that some other time. Satoshi couldn't let the ball pass twice to see its trajectory, and then hit on the 3rd pitch and ran to first base. Oh, he did it! He's so good when he's relaxed. In the beginning, he used to get tired very easily. He's improved quite a lot since then. It really does look like kind of like a bookworm. Wonder why he started playing baseball in the first place. All the other kids who joined the baseball team loved baseball. They'd go out to play in the fields outside of practice. That's why they all had aptitude for it. Sis never said that Satoshi could exercise intensively in school or anywhere else. He only likes to read. So I didn't understand why he started playing for this team to begin with. That's because I invited him. Is that so? You recruited him? Did you notice some sort of hidden talent? Excuse me, can I have a cup of barley tea? Ah, thank you. Yuri asked for the tea in a suspicious manner. While he constantly joked around, I knew he was actually a very mature person. I assumed he was trying to evade my question. Is there any particular reason? But he pretended he didn't hear me, and I pressed him on it. In response, he shrugged and began answering the question. I think you might be able to guess. What would be Mion Sonozaki's guess? Probably recruited him to keep him away from his aunt, right? Quickly searched through the data I had on Satoshi-kun. Came up with Satoshi-kun's family circumstances. He lost his parents in an accident a year ago. Since then, he's been having a tough time in his uncle's home. So, you invited him so he could vent? Sports are great. You can free yourself through exercise. But as long as he concentrated on something else, he could forget about his troubles at home. You know he's usually sort of a daydreamer zoning out all the time. Is he still stressed? I knew Satoshi-kun must be suffering even though he doesn't look like it. But Mion Sonozaki never pays attention to things like that, so I'd act like she does. Satoshi-kun got really sick after his uncle took him into his custody. He had many clinical symptoms, but the causes were unknown. Satoshi-kun often got sick after he was taken into his uncle's custody. He suffered from fatigue and migraines. He suffered from lack of energy and sleeplessness. Dr. Ide soon realized Satoshi-kun was suffering from a psychological disorder. Most of the people in Hinizawa knew how bad Satoshi-kun's environment was. It was natural for him to become sick because he entered that bad environment right after his parents' deaths. Hojo-san cannot express himself freely. Whether it's crying or simply being agitated, he's not good at handling those emotions. That's true. I can't imagine him being angry or crying. Did you know Hojo-san's mother had been married a few times already? Yeah, I know a little bit about that. Satoshi-kun's mother had married a number of men over the years. That meant Satoshi-kun had several stepfathers. He had to deal with strangers coming into his home multiple times, so he was forced to be mature. Satoshi-kun is mentally underdeveloped. He isn't aware of it himself, though. He didn't have enough time to cry, laugh, throw tantrums in his childhood. He was forced to become a grown-up in just a short time. It doesn't sound right. Children have to behave like children in order to grow. There's nothing positive about being forced to become an adult. Not only was Satoko's current relationship with her aunt conspicuously terrible, heard that her relationship with her previous stepfathers weren't good either. Satoko always caused problems. Satoshi-kun would always step in to protect her. Thought his physical symptoms came from the stress his body was trying to warn him. That's why Irie invited Satoshi-kun onto the baseball team. He told Satoshi that he needed a new member. Or something like that. He hesitated at first, but after I talked to him at the clinic a few times, he began to open up to me. First, I invited him to come see the practice. Then I suggested he try batting. I eased him into it. Sports worked excellently for Satoshi-kun. His health quickly improved, and he started to become interested in baseball. Practiced batting. Soon able to swing beautifully, and learned how to see the trajectory of the ball. I can imagine that. He likes to read, so he must have read a book titled How to Play Baseball or something like that. He's become a good batter very quickly. He's put forth a lot of effort. Though I wish he could actually hit when it comes down to the wire, too. Are you guys close? I think so. He talks to me about his problems, so I guess that's a sign of trust. Felt a bit jealous about how confidently Irie said that. While Satoshi-kun and I were friends, we weren't so close we'd open up to each other like that. Oh, are you jealous? About what? Taken aback, I blushed. Irie started laughing at me. Please stay as his good friend. Well, yeah, I'm trying. I didn't know what I was saying. You know, regarding Hojo-san, seems a little sick again lately. What? Whack. Ball flew to the left. The left fielder managed to catch it. Seemed like the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had gotten worse lately. It was so obvious his sickness had something to do with that. Their aunt is bullying Satoko-chan in a terrible way. She's become worn out after all that, and so Satoshi-kun is also worn out. From covering for Satoko, isn't he? I wasn't interested in Satoko. Dude, she's suffering too. Like, okay. I see Shion's priorities. That's why I switched the subject back to Satoshi-kun. I didn't know much about Satoko. I knew that she was a big part of Satoshi-kun's life, but I'd never been interested in her until today. She must have been building up self-esteem and taking care of her unreliable brother. That was all I knew about her. But considering Satoshi-kun's personality, even that goofiness of his might have been an act. Maybe he was trying to make her feel good about herself by letting her take care of him. If only unconsciously. When he's alone, he's surprisingly strong. Realized that only recently, so I couldn't help but think. His whole life is constantly affected by Satoko. Satoshi-kun managed to get along with his stepfathers even though he experienced some stress. He was even getting along with his aunt. But in order to protect Satoko, he had always had to step in and suffer. I didn't really know anything about Satoko, but I had to admit, I feel hostile toward her. Oh, I see. She ain't gonna take care of that? Felt jealous because she was monopolizing him. Seems their aunt has been tyrannizing Satoko-chan even more lately. That might be what's causing Satoshi-kun's sickness. Irie heaved a sigh. As he said, Satoshi-kun had been absent a few times lately. He seemed a bit tired too. What? Ah, Satoko. I was half asleep. No, God. No. He looked normal when around everyone else, but he looked a bit depressed when he was alone. So you invited him to join the team to relieve his stress, didn't you? Yes, that's right. But he looks stressed again now. How can we save him this time? I don't know. Irie smiled powerlessly. Couldn't help but feeling a bit disappointed about that. Satoshi-kun put his trust in him. Just between you and me, Satoshi-kun recently told me that he wanted to leave the team. Huh? How come? Claimed that he was tired of it. That's what he said. But I believe he actually wants to spend more time with Satoko-chan. He thinks that Satoko-chan might end up being tortured while he's at practice. I think he's concerned about that. I see. I was left speechless for a while. Satoko again. Satoko. Why did Satoshi-kun have to sacrifice so much for her? Maybe because they're siblings? Maybe? Just by ignoring her, his stress would melt away. Of course I knew he couldn't do that. If that were the case, then the blame lay with his little sister. I knew how badly she'd been treated. But that only happened because she made things worse for herself. It was her fault that she couldn't establish a decent relationship with her aunt. If Satoko were more mature, like Satoshi-kun, her home life wouldn't have gotten so bad. Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer those indirect blows. In the meantime, the baseball team's practice match had become one-sided. It wasn't even worth watching anymore. Dang, bro. I'm trying to think. Heck. That's bad. That's real bad, this direction that she's heading. Members of the losing team were just goofing off. The sky turned cloudy too. It was depressing. It didn't look like it'd rain soon though. The gray sky hadn't brought any cool air, it just felt disgusting. Irie became quiet. He was looking around his feet. I remember what I was gonna say. Setsuko is like, what, 7? She can't be mature, you know? She can't actually do that. She's like, what, 14, I'd say? A 14-year-old is way more capable of being mature than a 7-year-old is. So her acting out is, you know, her trauma response, you know? I don't know. I don't think Shion can expect Satoko to just be mature. I, meanwhile, just stared at Satoshi-kun. To me, he didn't look active anymore. He was once able to enjoy playing baseball, and he felt fine. But he got sick again, just because the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had deteriorated. Couldn't help but say it. Shouldn't we do something about Satoko instead? Oh, you can't say that, bro. You can't. Shouldn't we do something about Satoko instead? It was just a murmur, but Irie had definitely caught it. What do you mean, Sonozaki-san? It's not that complicated. If Satoko were stronger, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to deal with the stress. I think Satoko is the cause of everything. Wow. She's 11? Satoko is not 11. Is she? If she is, then she should be a little bit more mature. But I guess she is still a kid. She is still a child. I don't know about that. Yes, you do. If she didn't cause any trouble, he wouldn't have to step in, would he? He wouldn't have to take over the fight between Satoko and her aunt, right? Satoshi-kun never got scared of any trouble. No matter how formidable the enemy, he'd bravely stand up to protect the weak. I knew that because I could vividly imagine it. Oh god. Whenever their aunt chides Satoko, Satoshi-kun steps in to protect her. The aunt probably didn't like it. Though Satoshi-kun didn't have to fight, the aunt would attack him anyway. The fight would then be between the aunt and him. Satoko might then tease the aunt by sticking out her tongue, hiding behind his back, and pretending to be scared. She'd never think about how deeply he was being hurt. That is true, though. Satoko doesn't really think about how all this affects Satoshi, you know? Satoshi-kun had become cornered and stressed. Surprised to hear this from you, Sonozaki-san. Thought you were Satoko-chan's friend, her classmate. A big sister kind of figure. Thought you'd always be on her side. What you've said is surprising to me. Irie looked at me suspiciously. Could tell he was, what he was thinking about me. I'd said too much. Mion Sonozaki and Satoko Hojo are friends. They're close. So Mion, should have been encouraging her after the situation at home got tougher. That's what Mion was supposed to do. I had totally forgotten about that and spoken as myself. It's only natural that Irie would give me a suspicious look. He might end up changing his impression of Mion Sonozaki entirely. I'd have to apologize to her about this and ask her to put things right. I totally messed up. Even so, I didn't think I'd said anything wrong. I'd objectively looked at the situation and made a modest proposal. To be honest, I was simply afraid that he might leave the team. I couldn't go to school in Hinamizawa, so the baseball field was the only place where I could see him. I could even say that he was my reason for living. Okay. Shion's becoming a little obsessed. That's right, I was in love with him. But I wasn't going to tell him how I felt, for I was satisfied just being by his side. Certainly couldn't ask for anything more. After all, I couldn't reveal my true identity. I had to pretend to be Mion in order to live in Okinomiya. I thought that maybe I should leave Okinomiya in order to be free. That's stupid. No matter how tough my life may be, I'd prefer to be here, with Satoshi-kun stroking my head every now and then. Why did I love him that much? I read about it in some manga once. You don't need a reason to be in love. I was surprised at myself for being like this. Calm down, Shion. Breathed out slowly, then held my breath, trying to slow my throbbing heart. I felt a bit calmer. At that point, a clear thought came into my head. I wanted to be with Satoshi-kun. So? I wanted him to stay on the team. So? I want to get rid of his concerns and his stress. So what? So, what can I do to achieve all that? My head started to cool down as I heard the umpire shout, "Game, set, and match." Man, I can see what she's planning. She's the one who killed the aunt. She's the one. She had to have been. Right? Some days I see him, some days I don't. A clear sky gets cloudy and rain will stop eventually. That his absence was just like that. But he was actually on the verge of a breakdown. Notebook, page 19. Heck. The rainy season had just come around the corner, and the air had become so humid that my shirt stuck to my skin. It had to have been a few weeks since Satoshi-kun had stopped showing up for baseball practice. Aww. Rip. I looked for him as soon as I arrived at the field. He's not here yet. Did I get here too early? I want to see him playing in the field right when I get here. I started arriving late because of those feelings. However, he wasn't here today either. I didn't even bother hiding my disappointment anymore. Everybody knew by now how I felt. Team members from Mion's class came over to try and console me, but I shooed them away. What's going on, Sonozaki-san? Are you feeling sick? Even EDA couldn't comfort me. I was aware that he too knew I was like this. I'm going home. I don't feel like watching the practice today. Look, we're having a meeting with the Okinomiya Titans later. I wanted you to be there because you're a manager. Manager. Don't treat me like a manager. I never agreed to be one. EDA looked down, not knowing what to say. Alright, please help us again when you feel like it. Maybe I won't be coming back. If you really need a manager, look for somebody else. Please do come again, whenever you feel like it. Satoshi-kun will be sad if you're not here when he comes back. I ignored him and turned around. People are usually 11 until they aren't. Bruh. That is how ages work, yes. I had already set up my schedule with Mio, so I didn't have to ask her every time anymore. So I tried to contact her a couple of times to ask how Satoshi-kun was doing in school, but I hadn't been able to get through to her. Apparently, the hag had sensed I might be in contact with Sis. In other words, Sis was being watched. As a result, it hadn't been easy to contact her. Kasai, who had been helping me contact her, seemed to also have been marked. People knew he was loyal to me. I hadn't seen him for a while either. All I could do was wonder how Satoshi-kun was doing. I was frustrated because there was no way for me to know. My head was filled with worries. Something surprised me out of the blue. Somebody called out to me when I was able to leave the field on my bike. Rena! Oh my god. First time we're seeing Rena. Woohoo! Mi-chan, hello. I'd never seen this girl before. Luckily, since she called me Mi-chan, there's only one person who refers to Mio in that way, as far as I know. Rena, I'm surprised to see you here. Her name is Reina Ryugu. Her real name is Reina, but she wants to be called Rena. So that's what we call her. She moved here in April. I had some information on her, but it was all ambiguous. Sis was still a bit uncertain about her, since she's so new. It's hard for me to handle someone like that. I didn't know how to act around her as Mio, so I decided to pretend to be in an obvious sulky mood. That way, she wouldn't talk to me as much, assuming that Mion was simply feeling bad. Well, that's how I really am, anyway. Are you going home, Mi-chan? Yeah, I'm not feeling well. Sorry. Let's go together, then. I wanted to say that I'd rather be alone, but there's only one road to Hinamizawa, so asking to be alone would look odd. The only way to not seem suspicious would be to walk home with her. Yeah, let's go. When I quietly nodded, I unlocked my bike. Oh, this is going to end horribly. Mi-chan, do you have an umbrella? Nope. It might rain soon, so let's hurry a bit since you don't have one. She predicted we were attacked by a pouring rain on our way. We ended up taking shelter in a small shack in front of a bus stop. It's pouring, but it doesn't seem like it's going to last long since that sky over there is clear. Yeah. Heard the sound of rain pattering on the rooftop and raindrops jumping into puddles. It sounded loud, but it made me feel strangely calm. Zoned out for a moment, then Rena talked to me while looking up on the rainy sky. I was worried about you, because you look so down. All the baseball team members knew I was depressed because I hadn't seen Satoshi-kun recently. Most of them attended the school in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't surprising that she knew as well. I haven't been able to contact Sis these past few weeks, but I was sure she had an idea of how I feel about Satoshi-kun, and how I would feel if he didn't come to his baseball practice. Sis was probably pretending to act a little depressed during her day-to-day in Hinamizawa to avoid creating a big gap between our moods. But neither of us knew the details about the other right now, because she wouldn't be able to answer if others asked her what was wrong. She'd only be able to say, leave me alone. That might lead more people to become worried. Rena must have thought Mion was depressed. Must have been why she came all the way to see me. She must have known what was going on because she knew that I was at the baseball field. Do you feel lonely because Satoshi-kun is avoiding us? Avoiding? Oh. I've introduced what's been going on with Satoshi-kun from what she just said. He'd been distracting himself from others lately because of exhaustion, distancing himself. So it sounded like, at least. He looked like he was very worried about Satoko-chan. I think he's really on edge. I feel bad for him. He really cares about his sister. He has a lot of courage. What I'd said sounded hollow, as I knew too well how much of a burden Satoko had become. But I think he'd feel even worse if you also looked that depressed, I think. I don't want that. I know. But if you really don't, then you need to smile for him. Otherwise, he might feel concerned. Cornered. I know you're strong. You can still smile even if it's just pretend. So I want you to smile no matter what. You know that lies can become true sometimes. What she was saying in a nutshell was this. Both Satoshi-kun and Satoko were totally wiped out. If Mion was also depressed, even though she's the sort of person who usually lightens the mood, their situation would be stuck in a vicious cycle. Rena sounded more like she was trying to give me advice than trying to console me. She must be more mature than she looks. Sis told me that she was a funny girl with a few bad habits. But she seemed to have another, very mature side to her. Do you love Satoshi-kun? Yeah. Though I shouldn't have told her that. I immediately responded. In that case, why don't you smile? Rena smiled herself. I believe Satoshi-kun will feel better if he sees your smile. I know you feel powerless now, but your smile will give him strength. I know what you're saying, but it's not that easy. Rena giggled and nodded. He'll come back after he's done with his part-time job. His part-time job? I almost asked that question, but I managed to stop myself. From the tone of Rena's voice, it sounded like it was something everybody knew. His part-time job, huh? Wondered when it'll end. Till he has enough money, I guess. Right! Before his aunt died, he saved up a whole bunch of money and then, like, spent it all or something. But it'll finish by Satoko-chan's birthday at the latest. I tried to figure out what was going on from what she said. I had to listen very carefully to uncover the whole picture. Satoshi-kun seemed to be working in order to make some money. I don't think it's easy to find a job when you're still in school. Sis might have something to do with it. His job only seemed temporary. It seemed to have something to do with Satoko's birthday. It wasn't that difficult to figure out. Satoshi was working and saving up to buy his little sister something expensive for her birthday. He was trying to comfort her, even though he was so torn up himself. Satoko again. Satoshi-kun was already worn out because of her. Now he was working for her sake, even though he was exhausted. How stupid. It would be easier for him to just forget about Satoko. Bruh. It's started. It's begun. I was startled when I realized Rena was looking straight into my eyes. She was smiling, but her eyes looked creepy. I never voiced what I was thinking, but she was looking at me as though she figured out I was blaming Satoko. She beamed when she noticed my fear. Mission accomplished. She smiled as though she understood that I thought that way because of love. She was giving me the creeps. Oh god, why was that so loud? Holy heck. I hear thunder roar in the distance. The rain began to pick up. Do you feel jealous of Satoko-chan because she monopolizes Satoshi-kun? Yes, that's exactly what she said earlier. I avoided answering immediately this time. Rena seemed to know what I was thinking already. I wouldn't be upset even if you did. That's just how it is when you're in love. Thanks. You've been encouraging Satoko-chan despite that. That's admirable. Of course I have. She's my friend. I sounded so fake. I felt like spitting on the floor. All we can do is encourage Satoko-chan and Satoshi-kun. I don't know how to save them from their situation. Satoko is relying on Satoshi-kun way too much. she were stronger, he wouldn't have to suffer in her place.
You sounded really straightforward.
Rena nodded with an unflinching smile, even though my remarks could be taken as harsh. What was this mysterious girl thinking? It was difficult to get a read on her. Maybe Satoshi-kun feels that way a little too. Oh,
Maybe Satoshi-kun feels that way a little too.
huh? Rena kept smiling, but her smile looked strangely cold.
I think he's tired of protecting Satsuko-chan, and he's aware of that.
Given the type of person Rena is, I don't think she'd say something if she wasn't certain of it. Because of that, she might have been confident in what she just told me. Why, do you think that?
He said so.
What? Satoshi-kun secretly confessed to her. Rena asked me to keep it that way.
Satoshi-kun told me that he felt tired of protecting Satsuko-chan. He was feeling guilty, though.
I don't think he would say something like that. But, however, it wasn't likely that Rena was lying. I just met her, so I didn't know what made me feel that way. But my hunch told me she was telling the truth. I heaved a huge sigh. Satoshi-kun must have gotten so tired that he couldn't help telling someone. Even so, even if he had thought that way, he wouldn't tell somebody so easily. Maybe Rena led him to do so? She might be capable of something like that. I don't understand. This girl. It had only been a little while since we'd met, but I've already started talking about something I was keeping deep inside of me. Does she have some kind of supernatural power to reach into people's minds and drag out what they're thinking? It suddenly hit me that I was sitting with this creepy girl in a tiny shack. I'd been dragged into her strange world. I don't think Sis has realized Rena's real personality. She thinks Rena is just a funny girl with some strange habits. Nah, Mio knows. She would have told me if she knew. I guess Satoshi-kun must trust you a lot if he confessed that to you. I'm a little jealous.
It's not because he trusts me. I think it's because I've experienced the same thing.
You what? Did you also have to cover for your siblings once?
Those footsteps always followed me. They even came to my bedside and looked down at me.
Huh? Sorry, Rena, what are you talking about? I turned around to face her and got the chills. Though she was smiling, her eyes looked ice cold. I trembled and froze with my eyes open.
Have you experienced anything like that?
I guess not.
I guess not. Probably.
Rena kept laughing self-derisively. I tried to figure out what she was saying.
Have you ever thought about leaving Hinamizawa and moving to the big city? Have you ever thought of doing something like that?
I didn't know how to respond. Rena waited for my answer, urging me to speak with her silence. No. I love it here.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I knew that.
It didn't seem like a good idea to lie to her. Ren has some kind of power I can't grasp. She can read people's minds just by seeing the slightest change in their expressions. So I had to tell her the truth.
You'll be okay if that's true. Oyashiro-sama won't get mad at you.
Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama. That's Hinamizawa's guardian deity. Couldn't understand why she'd mentioned that name. My mind stopped for a moment. That's right, Oyashiro-sama. Oh.
That's right, Oyashiro-sama.
She repeated the name as if trying to teach me something. Yeah, I remember. Oyashiro-sama never allows heathens to desecrate Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama never allows the villagers to leave either. Those are the rules. Slowly, I recalled the fear of the curse, which supposedly caused the dismemberment murder and the death of HEWWO couple. When I was sent to the institution, I had this fear. I was scared that if I went to that faraway boarding school, I'd fall under the curse. But I should be okay. I escaped from the school and returned to my hometown, to Okinomiya to be precise. But it should be okay according to the kids' rules, because I love Hinamizawa. The hag forces me to live this suffocating life, but I still chose to stay in this place. I don't believe I'm breaking Oyashiro-sama's rules. Even though the Sonozaki family had selfishly banished me to a remote place, I came back here anyway. But Yashida-sama should even bless me for that. Because I'm trying to convince myself that the curse doesn't apply to me. But I think I'm still afraid of it.
I love this place, so I don't think I qualify for Yashida-sama's curse. You could even call me a model villager.
Yes, I think so too, but I'm not so sure about Satoshi-kun.
Why?
Oh wait. Oh, other way around. I love this place.
Yes, I think so too, but I'm not so sure about Satoshi-kun.
Why?
Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away. Even if only unconsciously.
Huh? Gave an inaudible cry. I was feeling sad that Satoshi-kun hadn't shown up for practice. He still lived in Hinamizawa. So I never even considered the thought of him going away. Are you saying that he wants to skip town?
Yes. He's not aware of it himself, though. He probably didn't notice until Oyashiro-sama stood by his bed.
Oh, that's horrible. Still had no idea what she was talking about. I continued to try to figure out what she was saying.
Everything he's going through is a sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse.
You feel like someone is watching you from a distance, and it follows you. Then it watches from right behind you. After that, you start hearing an extra footstep. It only happens outside at first. You start hearing it inside your house after a while. Then, Oyashiro-sama keeps watching you even though you're sleeping in the dark. Right by your side, waiting silently for you to admit your sin. Satoshi-kun told me he was having nightmares at first, so I asked him what kind of dreams he was having. Those dreams he was having, as it turned out, were just like mine. I warned him that the presence would become bigger. He'd hear an extra footstep and feel a presence watching him in his sleep. I told him to come to me if that ever happened. He must have been suspicious at first, but just as I predicted, I started to feel Yashiro-sama's presence even more strongly. Finally realized he could talk to me about it. Oh, that was all Rena, by the way. But it didn't look like she was joking. She just calmly told me what had been going on. Couldn't even move. Couldn't even tell if her words were a joke or the truth. Could only feel stunned. I'm from Hinamizawa originally, but I moved to the Ibaraki.
I'm from Hinamizawa originally, but I moved to the Ibaraki prefecture right before I went to elementary school. However, I couldn't adjust to my new environment. The Yashiro-sama frequently started to telling me to return to Hinamizawa in my head. But I couldn't do anything since I was just a little kid. I was forced to live there, though I felt threatened by Oyashiro-sama's voice. Then...
Rena paused. Looked like she didn't want to go into the details of what followed. In general, she confused me even more.
Anyway, I was able to come back here in the end. Oyashiro-sama forgave me. I haven't felt his presence anymore since then. Satoshi-kun is being subjected to the curse even though he's in Hinamizawa. Why? There can only be one reason. Because he wishes to abandon Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama won't allow that.
After a series of inner monologues, he confessed.
You know he's working part-time, don't you? The teddy bear he's getting for Satsuko-chan costs about 100,000 yen.
Bruh, what? Dude, there's no reason to get a teddy bear that costs that much.
He's trying to get the money for her by her birthday. Have you noticed it yet? Think about it like this. If he had that amount of money, that'd be enough for him to run away somewhere far from here. He unconsciously started to think about that, about leaving Satsuko-chan behind. But he'd feel very guilty. As you pointed out, Satsuko-chan is a burden on him. He's not stupid, so he's aware of that. He just doesn't want to admit it because he's the one who's supposed to protect his little sister. He's been struggling with himself. Thinks he's working to please Satsuko-chan on her birthday. But he also feels like he might be deceiving himself because he unconsciously wants to skip town with that money. I don't think he should run away. Even if he did, he'd regret it for the rest of his life. Oyashiro-sama knows that. That's why Oyashiro-sama is trying to warn him. I hope Satoshi-kun stops thinking of abandoning Satsuko-chan. He's working hard to make Satsuko-chan's birthday, which is a couple of days after the Watsunagashi festival. He's pushing himself too hard. He believes it'll end when Satsuko-chan's birthday comes. The curse keeps cautioning him. while he tries to figure out whether he should leave or continue protecting her.
The torrential rain didn't seem to want to stop. It kept pouring down on the galvanized iron roof, producing loud noise. Yet the shack, it fell completely silent. What the hell was Ren talking about? I couldn't grasp half of what she was saying. The only thing I figured out was that Satoshi-kun was struggling, confused, and in lots of pain. Suffering from Yashiro-sama's curse? And Ren has experienced that before? The Nagashi Festival was right around the corner. The Yashiro-sama's curse had struck 3 years in a row. There was no guarantee that it wouldn't strike a 4th time. Satoshi-kun was subject to Yashiro-sama's curse, even now. Was he going to skip town? Was he going to be the next victim of Yashiro-sama's curse? Either way, he might disappear forever. Could I do something to prevent it? If I didn't do anything, it would all come to a hopeless end. End? Started to feel a sense of dread. I didn't buy the crazy story Ren had told me. But if something really was happening to Satoshi-kun, which might bring about some kind of an end, I couldn't help but feel scared. It's true, isn't it? My instinct is always correct. I decided to contact Mion despite the danger. Mion got upset at first, but she had to listen to me. Sis, what's going on with Satoshi-kun? He looks really stressed out. I can't even talk to him. What do you mean? You don't know what's going on because you can't talk to him? Sorry. Sis, give me another chance to trade spots again. That's fine, but I'm kind of busy lately attending meetings for the festival. What are you planning to do? Another part-time job? Going to your school. Oh, God. Yeah, like that'll work out real good. I guess she probably went once. But I think it's surprising that things are picking up this fast. I didn't expect it for a while. Now we have 2 tabs! Yippee! Oh, these are all, Shion's. Notebook page 21 and 24. 21. Why don't I relate my encounter with that creepy girl in the rain? Her name is Rena Ryugu. Her real first name is Reina. I have no idea what kind of girl she really is. One thing is certain, she has no relation to the Sonozaki family. She has no relation to the 3 families as a whole either. The Ryugu family used to live in Hinamizawa, but then they moved to Ibaraki. That was before she went to elementary school. They returned to Hinamizawa some years later. Rena Ryugu said she came back because Oyashiro-sama told her to. I don't know what that means. She said it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama, that Oyashiro-sama had stalked her. I think that was probably a hallucination, but Satoshi-kun had been interested in that experience. She said that Satoshi-kun was also experiencing Oyashiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun told her that he was being followed by some unknown existence. He was surprised to learn that Rena had the same experience before. What is Oyashiro-sama's curse? Why did Rena and Satoshi-kun have a similar experience? I believe that means somebody put them under surveillance. Somebody must have been spying on the next victim of the curse. Since Rena and Satoshi-kun both blindly believed in Oyashiro-sama's curse, they interpreted it as Oyashiro-sama's presence. Paranoia kicked in. They'd feel as they were experiencing paranormal phenomena. Judging from what Rena said, it seems that Satoshi-kun had been put on surveillance since long before Watanagashi. So, one question comes to mind. Why were they watching Rena? I'm assuming that the surveillance was placed on a victim-to-be of that year. You learn a lot, and things pick up a lot in these arcs. Oh, okay. If so, I don't understand why Rena went through it. Why did they watch her even though she was living so far away? If she was considered somebody who abandoned the village, I could understand. But she didn't fall victim in the end. Maybe she was forgiven because she came back to Hinamizawa? Because she still knows something I don't. God. Heckin' wild. Notebook page 24. Satoshi-kun looked terrible. When he went home, he had to meditate a fight between Satoko and their aunt. He became mentally exhausted. Went to work every day. He became physically exhausted. He no longer communicated with his classmates. He's either slept on his desk or was gone somewhere during lunch break. He used to be really gentle. It was painful to see him suffering like that. On top of all that, he was dealing with the curse of Yashiro-sama. Must have been completely, totally, and absolutely exhausted. The curse was a form of surveillance by those planning to victimize Satoshi-kun that year. That means that the other victim was in the same situation. Satoshi-kun's aunt had also been watched. Did she notice any presence? What about the others? Did the victims of the previous incidents also experience it? I need to investigate the facts in order to prove the curse on Satoshi-kun was actually just surveillance. Is it surveillance? Paranoia? Or really the curse? Dang. I think it's a curse. I don't think it's paranoia. I think it's real. It do be real. Probably. Okay, it is time to end. It is time to end. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. I'll see you guys next time. Probably on Sunday. Yeah. For 999. Well, bye-bye.